is up, everybody? Welcome to the football show with no name. We are back after a week hiatus. We got Ian with us, we got Big Ferg, and we got Lauren, of course, down there in the bottom left-hand corner. So welcome this week. So it was an interesting week of football. It was filled with injuries. It was filled with drama, and there was a few good games, right? Fantasy-wise, there's some things that we should talk about tonight that we were kind of talking about pregame. But let's give the first 30 seconds of the show, and only the first 30 seconds of the show, to give your quick thoughts about Mr. Deshaun Watson, because there really is not much to say. I'll start here. The NFL wanted to come back against the Texans, realizing it's a terrible fucking game, which was awesome. And then he proceeded to put up a brick, 137 and a pick, and no offensive touchdowns. And yet they still managed to score 27 points and pull out the win. So I think it was terrible. So Ian, what do you got?
I thought he gave us exactly what we should have expected. A man who hasn't played football for 700 days. He looked like a man who hadn't played football for 700 days. He looked really tight. Like as a quarterback, he looked really tight. I feel like at halftime, he probably should have gotten a massage just to kind of loosen up.
Kind of loosen him up. Ferg, what you got?
I'm not going to – we all saw the game. I'm not going to trash Deshaun. Like I said, he hasn't played in 2 years. Anything else that has to do with Deshaun, I'll reserve comment till Brett Favre goes to jail. Until then, carry on, Deshaun.
I feel that. All right, Lauren, what do you got?
Well, I get more than 60 seconds.
I believe it. Let's go.
Deshaun Watson is my ass of the week. He had a horrible game. He looked like shit. They're lucky that they had a good defense. I would have loved if he had lost the game, but his defense stepped in for him. As a female and a human being, the fucker belongs in jail, so he shouldn't be playing anyway. Grand jury or not, like 22 women don't come out and make up the same exact story into your massage joke. That's funny, but they should have also added that he can only have massages by men now. So I agree with you. Brett Favre deserves to be in jail. I just also think it's absolute bullshit. Like 11 games makes up for sexual assault of 22 women. And that's like, okay. Like Ray Rice got banned for the rest of, he got banned, 4 games, then was the rest of his life.
Yeah.
And then he couldn't come back at all.
Yeah.
And his wife didn't press charges. 22 women press charges on this fucker, and he gets to come back. And it's like this magical moment for all of us. I am so proud of every fan that clapped at every incompletion that man threw.
And there was a lot of
them.
There were a lot of
incompletions. He deserves to be in jail.
Or were they clapping because he threw an interception? or an incompletion?
Yes.
Or were they just clapping because they're just mad that he won it out and they had to wait 2 years to book?
No,
I think there was a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Well, there were more Cleveland fans in that stadium than there were Texans fans. That saying, it was still half empty. Yeah. I think people are just cynical in general. Like, this is a bad dude was given a second shot and really doesn't deserve it in the eyes of everything not football related.
Yeah. Those guys, and it's black guys and white guys. Like, Donald Trump's ass needs to be in jail, but he's not going to jail. That guy could kill someone and it doesn't matter. Like, O.J. Simpson didn't go to jail at first.
Well,
Brett Favre's not going to jail. Ron Watson, all those guys have money, and it sucks.
Bill Cosby went to a prison right down the street from where I live, actually.
Yeah, and then what's his nuts? Simpson went for something completely unrelated.
That guy? That's a whole.
First of all black people know that when you get away with the crime the first time, you do not go back to the scene of the crime and do no more dumb shit.
I think white people know that too.
You become a preacher.
I don't think black people have the monopoly on not being.
Well, I think white people just become politicians. I think that's what they do.
Not to go completely down that, but so I've listened to a lot of podcasts. And I was listening to a lot about O.J. Simpson because, I remember that from being in high school. But that guy, so I don't know if it's the CTE, the concussions that man had, but you couldn't get more guilty if you tried. And then the prosecuting attorney, she should be banned and put on an island for morons.
If the glove doesn't fit, you must have quit, right?
Hey, Ian, the fact that Lauren said she was listening to the OJ shit in high school just really pissed me the fuck off just now.
I was in college.
Like, I was in college. I was in college
95?
when we watched the
95.
Broncos
I
game.
graduated college. I was out of college.
But I was listening to, and I was also reading I've been reading this book called How to Be an Anti-Racist, and they had a really interesting section on black people and O.J. Simpson.
Book on how to not be racist.
Yeah, there is.
Do you have
Step
this
one,
book?
don't be racist.
I want you to find the very first paragraph of this book and read it to us before we get off the air. I need to know what the first paragraph of how to not be racist is.
Step one, don't be an asshole.
Don't be racist.
The end. You'll know the author when I tell you.
The end. God, there's a lot of pressure there, Jeff.
Yeah, the end. That's just the end. All right. So we said 30 seconds.
You're going to know the author, though.
We're going to get the first chapter.
It's Ibram Kendi. Do you know that guy?
Clint, put us back on path. Get us back on the highway.
So let's do this. Let's talk about something that we have in our chat that we want to talk about that is like football related, but it's more news related than gameplay or injury related. The gameplay and injury is going to take a little longer, so I want to talk about this.
Hey, Caitlin.
You said should the NFL flex bad games out of a prime time?
Yes, that was we talked about this
and you know what
earlier.
And so
we were talking about this pregame, Clint. So I mean, I don't know if you had popped in yet, but Jeff and I were having a real conversation. Like, it's not only the Thursday night games. Like, Jeff and I were looking at the Monday night games, like the last 7 weeks of the season, and I pulled it up here. Here's the last 7 Monday night games of the season. You got the Niners, Cardinals, Steelers, Colts, Saints, Bucks, Pats, Cardinals again, Rams, Packers, Bolts, and Colts again. The Colts, followed by the Bills and the Bengals. Now I know
the Broncos in that at all? Because
no, the Broncos were flexed
those
out.
Are Monday? Those are Monday.
The Broncos were a Sunday night and got flexed back to
the
4
Cardinals
o'clock
have 3 nighttime primetime games in the last 6 weeks.
The Saints don't belong in prime time.
I think they should. I think they should reserve the right to change, to have somebody kind of on deck. You know what I'm saying? That they already have an idea of, right? And then tell them like 4 or 5 days in advance.
Well, I read the
think
rules
2 weeks,
and it says they need 2 weeks. They have to decide within 2 weeks ahead of time for paper ticket sales as well as the network to be like, hey, we need Joe and Troy to be here, whoever the number one team. We need them to be here as opposed to being at Panthers Seattle. That's what we had 10 weeks ago when we thought they were going to be good. So I get that, but yeah, the NFL is big enough. The way we move so fast, fans, I think if your team is 3-9, fans really won't care. I saw just a side note back when you were talking about the Houston game being empty. There were at least 7 to 8 different Facebook friends that I have, random friends that were at the Houston-Cleveland game because I know they're not fans. They just happen to be in that area. And I saw at least 3 or 4 people post that they got tickets for like less than $21.
Oh, yeah.
And it should
go to that game.
And it shouldn't be that just like right now, the NFL only flexes games like after like week 12 or something like that.
They should be from the beginning.
It should be from like not this maybe starting in like October, because through the first 4 weeks of the season, we still thought the Rams were good. We still thought the Broncos were going to be good. You just don't know. But come October, you already know who. Like you know who's shit. And
I'm not a fan of either of those teams, but the earlier the year, and if it's just about the money, we're just doing it for money, then it's no reason why Kansas City, Dallas, maybe Eagles. Philly this year.
Yeah.
And then you can just throw one West Coast team in it because you got to have somebody from the West Coast. You're going to go 49ers. I can understand Rams because they won.
Strong fan bases.
But flip out the Rams for the 49ers and you put them on Sunday night every week, and you either send them to somebody or you bring Patrick Mahomes to Dallas.
Or get a good rivalry.
Jack to Kansas City.
Yeah, Lawrence exactly
rivalry.
Lawrence exactly right.
On Sunday night. Don't give me the well, I guess Bucks.
Ravens Steelers always.
No, you do
Yes.
Ravens Steelers.
And I don't think that
you
is next.
do
No, it's not. That should be
I'm saying you
Cowboys,
should always have
Eagles.
Ravens Steelers on
Yes.
Sunday night.
Ravens,
Ca-
absolutely.
Cowboys, Commanders. That's twice tonight I've said faux pas.
Or even the Bears
You
and
can say
Packers, but
Redskins.
not so much. But I think
This
the
ain't
other
Disney.
solution is having the teams that you know have the strongest fan bases, that whether they're good or they're shit, their fan bases are going to
Yeah, I
come
just
out.
wanna see
You're
good
talking
games,
Dallas, San
too.
Francisco, Green Bay. You're talking Philly. You're talking Miami. That it doesn't matter what the team is. They're going.
If you're
The
gonna
fans
give me
are
a
going to. And
shitty
people are going
ass
to tune in.
Sunday night or Monday night game, the least the NFL could do is give us like a semi-type Super Bowl halftime type show,
Right.
or even if it's something that's like
Right.
beamed in during halftime, like we don't have to watch you
Like,
at
draw
the
us in.
stadium. Just give us
Something.
Jay-Z and Beyonce singing like one
Yes.
song
Just give
during
us
the Middle East.
Beyonce.
Like, because when you watch the
I vote,
Thursday night games, because what I started
like
doing,
Jay-Z,
and I
though.
didn't before, I started actually watching
Clips
like
dying.
2 Chainz and stuff on the Amazon stuff for the new music that they pop up. And they always show these new artists, and you be like, who the hell is that? And then if I'm still up drinking at 12, 1 o'clock, I'll watch other, hey, this dude's pretty good. This is somebody that should be, like, they could have showed this during the game instead of making us wait till midnight to see who this new artist is. Something, they got to do something. Thursday
I'm
and
gonna be
Monday
honest
night.
Scheduling
with
should be
you.
a thing.
Like I've been
Scheduling should be
point in the
flexible,
season-
completely fluid. It should just be completely fluid.
Yeah.
So but they'll never be able to do that. And
They'll
they
never be able to do it.
Like, there's too much TV money on the line. There's too much all that. So I mean, it's a great idea, and I wish they would. But it's like logistically, like.
But they should be able to flex. Flexing on the same day should be easy.
Or
They should. I bet they'll fix it next year because they've learned like a hard. Because like, listen, I am Who Dat Nation 100%. Did I watch that game? No.
But
There's no reason. Like I
But
would.
I'm just saying,
bet.
who are the 3 people in America who are not gonna watch because your favorite team came on at 8 o'clock
right.
instead of 4:25? Like
That's-
who
I don't-
are
I
those
don't wanna
3 dudes?
watch.
Like, oh my god, I got to work third shift.
I don't need.
I'm
to
not
see
watching.
Dennis
I mean,
Allen.
those are
I don't
like
need
3
to
people.
see Andy Dalton's ass on this. I don't need to see
Yeah.
any of it. It's hard.
Well,
It bothers me. It makes me too angry.
Who even
Here's what
thought
they
these
do.
teams were going to be good at the beginning of the year?
Well, see, here's what they
be
do.
on TV that many
They were
times.
like talking about them going to playoffs and shit.
They need to do one of 2 things. They need to get rid of Thursday night games altogether. As much as I love
Yes.
football, they need to get rid of them altogether, or make it like a JV schedule, right? So take the shittiest teams that are supposed to be shitty at the beginning of the year, like the Lions and the Jags, and put them on Thursday night, right?
And then nobody
that's what
watched.
they do.
Sunday night.
But you could
Bezos
you
is
could
like,
give me some
no,
Thursday night Lions throwing the ball
This is
55
what I'm saying.
times.
Like,
I give me that.
Thursday
Yeah,
night
give me that. I know they're gonna lose. Just make my fantasy
And
team
who's
look
who's
good.
tomorrow night?
That's what I'm saying. Like
Now,
get some JV
there's
schedule.
there's 4
Ugh.
more Thursday night games, and they're not terrible. It's Raiders and
Tomorrow
Rams
is
tomorrow.
terrible.
That's
Tomorrow
bad.
is the toilet
That's
bowl.
Niners at Seahawks. That's a rivalry game.
We'll
that's
see.
a good one.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Jaguars and Jets. I think Jaguars and Jets
That's going to be a
has
decent.
that's got the
Jaguars
possibility of
at
being
New
decent.
York
Yeah.
in December.
At New York, yep. And then the
Yeah.
last
No.
Thursday night game is the Cowboys at the Titans.
Okay.
But again,
Terrible
it's-
game.
If nothing else, you can't scream at me all year
I
about
want to see
player safety
rivalries.
and then let somebody play on Sunday and turn around and play on Thursday halfway
Yeah,
across the
that.
country.
Yeah.
Fuck
yeah.
the NFL. NFL, you're full of shit. Get rid of
Yeah,
that
you
Thursday
can.
night game.
All right, so let's move it along so we can keep on time here. So let's get into some real football. Let's start with some of the games of the week, and I'll start with this because it's a viable injury concern. What was supposed to be one of the games of the week is Jeff's beloved Dolphins against the 49ers, and ended up being Jimmy Garoppolo-less 49ers. So we can talk about that real quick. So that's one of the injuries that's going to affect the rest of the fantasy year for sure. And more probably for Brandon Ayuk than anything else, but the fantasy thing, just overall,
Yes.
Jimmy Garoppolo. But real football wise, it's definitely a step backwards with whoever they go with because of how Jimmy was able to run that offense.
Well,
And
So I have
Jimmy-
a question for you on
yeah.
Jimmy. So this is what I guess I don't. This is sort of like why I don't understand why Nick. Because I would take Nick Foles right now on the Saints. So they put everything into Trey Lance. Why do you think that they would have been where they are now if he hadn't got hurt?
Yes.
I don't think we would have
maybe
been
worse.
though. I think it would have been a completely different expectation. right? So I don't know. Yeah, because I mean, so would they have been in the position like to get in the playoffs to go get McCaffrey like they did? Who knows? But I don't
know.
think they cared. Like because
but if they had Trey Lance in August, and I told you they had coming off of last year though, looking from fantasy and real, if you said, yeah, we're gonna give you Trey Lance, but in August I said this dude's gonna have Christian McCaffrey, Debo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, healthy Elijah Mitchell, Nick Bosa, and that defense. If you knew that in August, you'd have said, give me Trey Lance all day. Once you said C-Mac, you would have said, give me Trey Lance.
Well, I guess you don't understand the wanting to get rid of Jimmy G because he consistently puts them in the playoffs.
Yeah,
I could play quarterback for the 49ers with that lineup.
But Jimmy G, Jimmy G has never been asked, when they were a Super Bowl team to now, to be the one who carries the team.
Right.
He's never been asked to be Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts or Lamar Jackson. He's asked to be basically a game manager, and he is an awesome game manager.
He's still
so that's why somebody like Nick Foles or Brock Purdy can
step in,
can capably step in when all they're being asked to do is throw a 2-yard slant to McCaffrey, throw an 8-yard slant to Debo, and don't fumble the ball.
All right, so if you were me, would you want Dalton or Jimmy G? Dalton or Jimmy G?
Jimmy G.
I was excited about possibly getting Jimmy G. So that's the thing. I just don't understand.
I'd rather have the lady that grooms Jimmy G's dog than have damn Andy Dalton.
Right, and I also don't understand Taysom Hill standing right there, but let's just put Jimmy G.
I hate Taysom Hill.
The bottom line is it's not going to be good for the Niners going forward as far as offensively. So we'll see. It's going to be, as long as Purdy can hand off the ball to Debo and Christian, then everything's going to be okay.
I wish the other commissioner was here, Merle. Shout out to Merle. But my thought is the 49ers really just going to turn into like the 1990 Giants. And just ask Birdie just to do enough to win it because the defense can win. That defense can win it. They can win the Super Bowl. That defense alone could win a Super Bowl. In that age for offense, they could win a Super Bowl.
So let's go to the other side.
The Ravens Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer.
Well, let's try to 1990, the other side of the ball and talk about Jeff's boys real quick, who put up a dud.
Was it a dud?
17. But who was this? The problem, one of the things that happened was Jalen Waddle got hurt and tried to play through it and did not look right. And apparently probably won't play this week, from what I'm understanding. And so that's gonna hurt. But still, your offense is like first play from scrimmage, 75-yard touchdown to Sheffield.
It can be done. There was some questionable play calling. McDaniel does have awesomely huge nuts. I mean, he went for it on like fourth and forever on like the own 18-yard line. Not once but twice. I mean, Tua was uncharacteristically bad from what we've seen all year. He kind of looked like old Tua this Sunday. I don't know if this was pre or before the ankle injury.
He's okay.
But he threw 5 in the dirt, I think, before he hurt his ankle. So I don't know if the game was just a big moment. But also, if you're playing a defense that hasn't given up but 1 touchdown in the second half in like 8 years, and you're playing without your starting tackles, you're probably going to lose. You're probably going to lose. And then we can't run the ball, so our coach Harry Potter doesn't really want to run the ball.
The 49ers defense was overwhelming.
Now, in the sake of, I will say this for McDaniel. If you were just playing Madden and he would have just kept calling plays for Tyreek, I feel like we probably still could have won that game. But in real football, you have to go to somebody else or run the ball. But me, I would have threw the ball at Tyreek. Yeah, I would have threw the ball at Tyreek 14 straight times because nobody can't fucking guard him out there. And I feel like he would have broke at least 2.
Nobody can guard Tyreek.
He would have got stuck behind the line once.
Tyreek would have been more open if they would have at least tried to run the ball, at least plant a seed in Nick Bosa's head. Listen, I can't just come on a
agony when you said
bull rush.
Really
they might run it. They ran the ball like 12 times all game. You can't do that.
Yeah, it's that Jeff Wilson agony. We can talk about that later because I know.
Oh,
all right.
Yeah.
So we do need to give some time to a few subjects later on in the show. So let's go ahead and talk about some other real football real quick. So
yeah,
every Dallas fan's wet dream came true on Sunday when the Commanders and the Giants walked off the field in a 2020 tie, and both coaches.
I really like Taylor Heineke. I like that guy a lot. I like watching him.
Taylor Heineke.
I loved his outfit walking in. He had like the old school, like 19.
You know who he reminds me of? Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Early Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins.
Not
Early
2022 Kirk Cousins.
Not 2022, but you like that Kirk Cousins.
You like that
dude.
Kirk
You like
Cousins.
that.
Taylor
Needs to
Heineke.
go.
Back when Kirk was still
Wentz
driving his
gotta go get an
minivan.
unemployment line right now because they're not. He's done. Wentz is done. There's no
Oh,
way they'll.
Yeah, he's not.
It's a lot of dudes that are done.
I mean,
They
I'll
don't
take him
realize
in
they're
New Orleans.
Yeah, he's not coming back. Okay, so now we got to talk about something real quick. Let's skip over this one before we go to the game of the week. Everybody knows what the game of the week was. It was what it was hyped up to be. Just wasn't as high scoring, but we'll save that for last. Cowboys really put it on the Colts in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I felt bad for Matt Ryan. I felt
It was
so bad.
2019 for a hot minute until it wasn't.
I felt so bad.
It's almost like you had a head coach who just got off the aisle at Walmart.
Yes.
It's almost like you
He
had
has
a head
really
coach
pretty
that
eyes.
didn't
That's
know
why I
what
do
plays
that.
to call.
Yes,
It's almost like you had a head coach
It was.
that had never been in that moment before.
It was an
But you
embarrassment.
know what? I don't even know.
Yeah, no, I get it.
It's
I
like
get
they
it.
were playing on Saturday.
Yeah.
So, just not to go to, but I do have a question on game. I totally missed and can't find what happened with Thomas Brady and the meltdown.
I don't know.
That's
When he was yelling at his teammates?
Yeah, like Eli
You mean
Manning.
like every other Sunday for the last 27
No, he was
years?
like, I mean, he was like, they got
He
him.
was
on
yelling, catch the
screaming.
fucking ball.
Catch
That's
the
what it
fucking ball,
Catch
you
the
bum.
fuck because his
Who was he
receivers
yelling
weren't
at?
catching the ball, and it's never
No,
because
what
the ball
receivers
is
get paid to
thrown
do.
improperly.
Brady's
Who
getting
was he
old,
yelling at, though?
but if you don't have
Like,
Marshawn Lattimore out there, you got to catch the fucking ball.
They got to start. They got to start docking receivers' pays for drop
Mike
passes.
Evans is garbage.
If it goes against the quarterback stats, it should go against the receivers in some aspect, not just.
I
All right,
don't know which one he was yelling at, but you got to watch it. It's hilarious. He
When
is.
you want a stat
and
for
apparently,
drops.
Eli Manning was.
Let me
making
ask you a
$1
question.
million.
I'm gonna call an audible right quick on a new topic. Let me ask you a question right quick. We were talking about flexing games out. How do you feel about people winning a division with a losing record and getting
I don't
a
like it.
playoff game?
I don't like that. I mean, I know
I,
it's-
I was always of the thought. I don't think the division winner should be out, but I think that we should reseed
So
these things
Here's
Yeah.
my problem with
at
this.
playoff time.
Lauren experienced this firsthand when the 10-6 or 11-5
Patriots.
had to
No.
go to Seattle.
Yeah,
That were like 7-9, right?
Yeah, that sucks too.
Those
when
are
you're-
safe, yeah.
Play in a playoff game, right? So that kind of stuff is bullshit. Like it should be
That was the beast
higher-
mode game.
Yeah, it should be the higher scoring. I mean, the best record team
Yeah.
situation
should get a home game.
should get the home game, not just because they were an 11-5 wild card team or 11-5. These motherfuckers were 7-9. So
Yeah.
you gotta say no, right? All right. So one more game that we have to talk about is this Chiefs Bengals game, right? So the Bengals now, do they own these guys? Like, does he
Yeah.
have Debo mind control? Does Joe Burrow have Debo
Four
mind control over
times.
Patrick Mahomes? Like,
That
what's-
was-
3 in a row.
Does he have mind control or?
look, it's
Andy-
the Bengals, bro.
I think it's one of the things like you talked about the Jeff Wilson thing with Tua and them. Andy Reid is so. I think it's a little Andy Reid ego to this thing. The certain plays that they call. Sometimes you just run up against a team like Miami with the Patriots, Miami with the Buffalo back in the day, especially. These
you
dudes
guys
can beat us.
take out
They're
the
not that good.
Yeah.
They're not better overall than us,
But they take the
but they
Patriots
can
out.
beat us
Yeah.
every individual Sunday. I think you got to run the rock. I think that my production assistant from the outside is passing me notes about the fact that I have not gone shopping for his Christmas gift as of yet, but
Tell them to put it in comments.
I'll digress from
I'll tell you
that
what.
for a moment.
I'll
But
tell you
yeah,
what.
I think Cincinnati is a team. I mean, Cincinnati went to the Super Bowl last year.
Cincinnati's
Like,
good.
I think sometimes we kind of forget, like, they went to the Super Bowl, Kansas City did not. Why are we acting like
No,
they're
they
the
got an
bully?
awesome,
They should be the bully
awesome.
when it really should
No.
be Cincinnati. We should be questioning why Cincinnati isn't the number
Yeah,
one
I don't
seed,
know
and
if
we're
you
not
guys-
talking about
Lauren-
them like Buffalo.
Lauren, you say you watch a lot of podcasts. I don't know if you've seen or heard. There's a podcast out these days. It's called The New Heights. It's Jason Kelsey and Travis
Yes,
Kelsey. If you
that is
haven't
really
seen
good.
Oh boy.
It's really good.
I watch
It's
it every
really good.
week on Tuesday or
Really
Wednesday,
good.
whenever it comes out. It's amazing. I'm a Travis Kelsey owner in a lot of leagues, and he laid an egg this past week. I get it, but Travis Kelsey, and he owned it. He really was the one who lost that game last week with that fumble. Like, that fumble really turned the game around. Now, at the same time, you were talking about, Mike McDaniels having the biggest balls in the NFL. I got to tell you, based on one play last week in this game, I got to say Zach Taylor and Joe Burrow have got some pretty big abilities. Third and 11 with a 157 to go in the game. Everybody in the world is thinking, run it, make them waste the timeout, kick the field goal, make it a 6-point game, make Mahomes score. They pass it.
Yeah,
on third and 11 with under 2 minutes and completes it. T. Higgins makes an amazing catch. Joe Burrow is just literally Joe Cool in that pocket. Nothing but those are some big balls.
LSU.
But if you're the defensive coordinator for Kansas City, and you're looking at, and this is what you get paid to do, are you going to turn around and run the ball with P. Ryan or Chris Evans? Or are you going to put the ball in the hands of Joe Cool?
Hey, look,
and three of the best wide receivers in fucking football.
I will say this, Ferg.
I'm throwing the ball.
P. Ryan has played really well.
He has, but we're talking about millions of dollars, legacy,
I get it.
playoff positioning.
Especially when you have
I'm
Jamar
throwing the ball. I'm throwing the ball with the dude that I probably had to pay $300 million to next year.
Look,
or 2 years from now.
And you have Jamar back, right? And you have
Jamar,
Tyler Boyd, you have T. Higgins, you have Hayden Hurst, you have Samaje Perine in the backfield. You can throw to. You have a lot of people to throw it to. So let's talk about Jamar real quick. So not limited at all, right?
No,
dude had 7 catches, 9 targets, 97 yards. Had a ridiculous one hit.
Should have had more.
Out of bounds, right? Should have had more.
Yeah. Should have had more.
Because he said he wasn't going to come back unless he was 100%. So it looks like he's 100%. But bottom line is they've beaten him 3 times in a row, including the AFC title game last year, right? And so it's like Mahomes versus Burrow is what this new rivalry is going to be. Now, let's not push aside this Mahomes Josh Allen rivalry, which is absolutely
Clint. Let's talk about that.
Those are some of the best games, right? So we gotta, I think it's just like Brady had a rival. Everybody was Brady's rival, right?
Brady Manning.
But see, Patrick Mahomes is that same dude, right?
All right, but we got to talk about
Patrick is everybody's rival, and I use this analogy because I know Clint and Ian are big baseball guys. It really hurt my heart yesterday when I saw that fake tweet that Judge was going to go to the Giants, because there's no way that I want to see the Padres, Dodgers, and Giants eliminating each other in the regular season instead of playing meaningful NLDS or NLCS games. So you want Patrick, Josh, Joe, all of these other young guys to be on different teams in different divisions so they can play games that matter.
Okay, so we need to get into some other things real quick. So let's talk finish some real football shit real quick. Let's talk about ass of the week. We already know who Lauren's was. We talked about that, so I'll give mine real quick, and that's Mr. Josh Allen. Did they get the win? Yes. Did he throw for 223 and 2? Yes, but that's not what you want from Josh Allen. He had 14 and a half fantasy points. He burned me, and somehow I still won. But he's still my ass of the week, so I'm not.
But you did say he was the best quarterback too. Are you going to take that back?
No.
You think he's better? He's better than Mahomes?
No, I think he adds more stuff than Mahomes. He adds another element. Mahomes can run, but he can't run like Allen, right? It's just like Jalen Hurts, right? But Jalen Hurts can't pass like Josh Allen. Boy, we'll see, man. Like I don't know. I don't believe he's
throwing interceptions in the red zone. I don't know. I don't think that. I think
that also could be on the play call. You know what I mean?
I think that's more scheme.
Scheme than anything else. I think that's more ego that he thinks he's.
I can make it. That I can do it.
Force it in anyway.
All right, well, Ian, who's your ass of the week, man?
I am my own ass of the week because I kind of forced a trade in our other league of record 2 weeks ago, which bit me in the ass. So it's twofold. One, I forced a trade with somebody to get Jeff Wilson, and I started Jeff Wilson, and Jeff Wilson got me 0.3,
You
and
knew
I
that. You knew
lost the
better.
game by 1.2 to
He got you a
knock
full
me into the
point more
number
than
2 seed.
Lamar.
What's that?
He got you a full point more than Lamar Jackson. All right.
I had the Browns defense scoring
Yes, says it,
43 and Amon-Ra St. Brown scoring 34, and I still lost. The other half of the ass of the week, Lauren, I'm sorry, I love you. Taysom Hill scored an average of 4 points over the past 8 weeks. Brandon started Taysom Hill, and when he caught that touchdown, I almost put my shoe through the TV.
How's he the ass of the week?
I was so fucking angry. So
That's
They need to let
Jeff
him play
Wilson is
quarterback.
my ass. Jeff Wilson is my ass because I'm an ass, and I forced the trade. I had Robert Woods on my bench. I could have started Robert Woods and won by 0.3,
wow.
and I would have been
And
fine.
that's terrible. That's terrible.
That's terrible.
That's
But
very bad.
I will forever now hate Taysom Hill, who to me is the identical twin of Tim Tebow, and I hate both of them.
I feel that. I feel that.
I feel
All
that.
right.
Sorry.
So, Ferg, what you got?
Animosity. I'm
All right,
bitter.
hold on. I got to take a shot for my ass. I actually have 2 asses. These are actually not individuals.
I voted for
I'm giving
myself.
ass awards to groups this week. Number
Nice.
1, take this shot for you. The 1.6 million plus people that voted for Herschel Walker in the state of Georgia. You are the definitely
Yes.
ass cheeks of
Agreed.
the
I
week.
drink to that.
Now,
Agreed.
I can understand. I'm like a team fan. Like I'm gonna always go Miami. I'm gonna always go Boston. I'm gonna always go Mets. But if you listen to this man for more than 3 seconds
He
of
is-
anything that has to do anything outside of what he did at Georgia or helping the Dallas Cowboys become the dynasty that they were in the 1990s, then you are full of
I've never
fucking
listened
shit.
to it.
Yeah.
That's ass
Here's
number
that.
1. We'll take a shot for that first, please. Anybody enjoy, smoke, drink,
Bottoms up.
do whatever. Ass number 2. The millions upon millions, and let me like Shannon does. Let me speak to the camera right here for a second. The millions upon millions of black fans
Oh my God.
and sports fans in general that think Deion Sanders owes Jackson State anything more than the 3 years and the $35 million that he raised for this goddamn college in the
Nope.
last 3 years,
Nope.
you are full of shit.
Yep.
If you have posted about Deion and that he owes black colleges like some kind of shit and that he should
Whoa,
have
I
stayed there
totally
for like
missed that.
25 years, you're full of shit. The
Yep.
one point, I watch all these shows and all these podcasts and all these posters. Now, I'm gonna get off of this, but I have yet to see anyone say there's like you should stay at a black college the way like Eddie Robinson did or Big House Games at Winston
74
State.
years?
The only reason that these coaches stayed at these schools this long is because they couldn't fucking go anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like, don't you think an NBA team back in the early 60s or 70s could have used John McClendon or
Yep.
Big House Gaines or
Yep.
some of these other big, like they say, PWI colleges could have used Eddie Robinson and them calling plays? They could have, but they couldn't. So don't expect Deion to play by the same rules that we played by back in 1955, 65, 75 when it comes to coaching, because in 2022 and 23, black coaches can still barely get a goddamn interview for a job. So why the hell would the hottest coach in college stay at Jackson State when he can go to a Power 5 school and run their budget up? Those are my 2 asses of the week.
How long until Coach Prime is in the NFL?
Coach Prime will not be in the NFL because although, like, when I listen to Shannon and them, and Shannon and him, Deion are friends, he says he doesn't have the patience. I think he has the patience to deal with 18 to 24-year-old kids.
Yeah,
but once you put the real money, not the NIL money, the $100 million fuck you, coach, I'm not practicing today money into the damn mix, I think Deion would lose some effectiveness. But as long as you bring Deion and his 12 NFL offensive assistants and his endorsements
and
to your college program,
Sure.
you're going to be good. Now, Deion at Auburn Alabama, I'll even say Miami, schools that think that they're relevant and ready to take the next step, he's not going to be good. But them schools that have been terrible, the Colorados, the UCLA's before Chip Kelly, the who else? The Vanderbilts of the world. If
The
you add a
Rutgers.
Dion into that mix and your team becomes 7-5, 8-4, you're gonna think you won the damn BCS national championship and you're gonna be happy. Alumni are gonna give, you're gonna build that new neutron telescope you want over in the science department. The alumni are gonna pour in dollars and
Look,
everything's gonna be good. Dion's a car salesman.
and Boulder.
In the end, he's a car salesman that knows football.
Look,
And that's
Boulder,
all you should
is
take
great.
him for.
Boulder
Don't
is
take-
great though.
Yeah, don't take him as Malcolm X or some messiah that's going to lead college football into something else. He is an opportunistic guy,
He's
just like the way he got interceptions and ran back kicks. That's how he coaches.
Is
Those are my two asses of the week.
what's his name going up there too? The 5-star recruit. Is he going with him in Colorado?
Travis Hunter's
Everybody's
going.
coming
His
with him
son's
to
going.
Colorado.
I know his
They
son.
had 2,000 inquiries from the transport portal and other players
Did you see
the day of his conference.
Did you see when he introduced himself to
Yes.
To the team.
the Colorado team?
Yeah.
He basically said, "Thank you all for being here. Get the fuck out.
Get
I'm
the
bringing
fuck
my own
out.
people.
I'm bringing
You
some
all just
dogs."
lost your job."
Yeah.
He's bringing his whole team.
He says some of
And
these
he's
jobs
bringing
are
every
already
transfer
filled.
What? Did you
Get
see
out.
that?
You're done.
If you watch college football, then
Here's some
you
party
saw
gifts.
the 30 dudes from Florida and the 25 5-stars that are on the bench at Alabama all jump into the portal on day one. He's going
They
to
go to
take his
Colorado.
pick of those dudes with
And
his
everybody
son.
left
He's
it.
going to Dion's ultimate plan, and I'm not mad at him as a father. Really, fuck college football, fuck Jackson State, fuck the NFL. My job as a father is to make sure that my son ends up in the best position he ends up in life. And if you got a chance to make your son turn into a first-round NFL draft pick and set his family up for the rest of his life, then that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. 100% agree. 100%.
And I'll get off my soapbox now. We won't.
No,
talk about that.
you know what, Jeff? I'm glad you brought that up, man. So
You got some
let's get-
fans in the chat, Jeff, too.
let's
do.
get
I'm probably related to all of them. You see the name?
Uh,
I don't know. Let's see.
There's a lot
I
of
don't know.
Ferguson going on
I'm
there.
trying to see. Hey, I paid for these votes. I paid for these.
Yo.
all right. So let's give some time to fantasy football for a few minutes.
Definitely.
So it's almost playoff time, right?
Mm.
And so this is where people become enemies and not friends, right? This is all business now. It's all fun and games up until this point in the season.
I've hated you all year, so that's nothing.
All right, so if we're going to talk fantasy football,
Yes.
I have a gripe that I want to put out there right now.
Oh, we're gonna go to the gripe right now.
Let's go.
Right
Let's talk
now.
about that first.
And I'm
Go
going
to
to
the
tell you,
gripe bucket.
this gripe is going to be my ass of the week for next week already. It's set.
Already.
I get it.
Ass of the week for next week is whoever is the goddamn schedule maker in the NFL who in week 14 is putting
Yes!
6 teams on bye week.
Yes.
The Commanders, the Saints,
Yes.
help me out, the
Colts.
Colts.
I'm screwed.
Yeah, it's
Everybody.
16.
I have been in fantasy leagues for 25 years, and bye weeks weren't a part of it at first, but now they are. But I have never seen a bye week this late with
Yeah.
this many teams.
Well,
Your ass of the
I'm
week
in
is the
37
NFL
leagues.
Players Association.
How-
Yes,
wait, how
so
many
I'm in
leagues you play in?
37 leagues, and in
Jesus.
only 2 of them, fortunately, the playoffs start this week. I have to go into the playoffs with Michael Pittman and Jonathan Taylor on bye week.
Well, they did you a
Oh,
favor.
I
with
should
Michael
read you
Pittman.
some of
They
my.
did you a favor
I
with the Michael
literally don't
Pittman.
have enough
The
people
ass
to
of the
fill
week is
team.
whoever made the goddamn schedule. You do not put 6
Yeah, it's
teams.
bad.
When in week 12, by the way, in week 12,
This is buying
there
again.
were 0 teams on bye.
There's
Week
a
12, there were 0 teams
that was
on bye.
contractually argued by the NFLPA. They wanted the late bye week when the NFL wanted the extra season. Like the way Cordero Patterson told us on Twitter, he
That's my
doesn't give a
ass of the
fuck about your Twitter team.
I
He
don't
does not give a fuck about your fantasy football team. He doesn't
No,
care.
it's.
does not care.
Does not care
But we're
about our
talking
fantasy.
about fantasy now, and that's
Yeah.
my realm.
So-
Well, let's
So
get to
whoever
our
made the
other gripe.
schedule
That was
for-
your ass. Get
Yeah,
to our
this
other
is what
gripe
I'm saying.
that
It
we
was
had
bad this
pregame.
week.
Because that's the gripe that I really want to talk about.
All right, this is a
The
good way to
trading
start
one.
talking about fantasy.
Oh, the trading?
So,
Okay.
yeah, so let's talk about these commissioners or I guess just players in general that are last place trading with people that are in one of the top positions in the play, or just a playoff position. Really, I guess it doesn't really matter if it's first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, or seventh, however many teams you have in your playoffs. But you're talking about people from the bottom that trade to better players than people at the top, right?
That should just straight up not be allowed.
So
right.
So
Ian,
there have to be parameters here. If you're talking about a redraft league, absolutely not. If you're talking about a dynasty league, just as an example, if you're trading a top tier player and you're getting a second tier player and some draft capital going forward, I can see that. But every single league, Clint, every single league, if your league does not have a trade deadline prior to like no later than Thanksgiving week, get the fuck out of that league. Because it's Bush League and there's going to be two people colluding, especially if it's a money league. There cannot be trades like the one that you're talking about here.
Yeah.
I just don't understand, like, there's vetoing and there's commissioners, like, how that, because, I mean, I personally, if I'm like 2 and something or 3, and you know, I've talked about this, Ian, like, I don't make the trades. Because then if it's another team that's then I'm like, that's just not right, like, I just don't do it. I tend to stay off the waivers towards the end, and I play in 4 leagues, and I'm in the shitter in 3 of the 4. So I just I'll stop doing the trades if it's redraft. I'll stop waivers too. I just don't. I mean, I guess people have to have morals to do that.
Well, I think you have to take one avenue or the other.
Let's get context here, Ferg. Right. So what we're talking about, there was a trade in one of my leagues where the commissioner of the league is in second place. The guy that traded him, who he traded him, which we'll tell you in a second, is in last place. And
12 team, right?
Yeah, no, it's 10 team.
10 team. Okay.
Even worse.
10 team super flex.
Even
so
worse.
2 QB start. Right. So he traded the commissioner who was in second place, traded away Kyler Murray and Jimmy Garoppolo and got Patrick Mahomes. And so
you traded Kyler for Patrick.
Yeah, and there is no veto power in this, or no voting on trades in this league.
It just goes.
That is just absolutely. So did it go through?
Oh, of course it went through. He's the commissioner.
He's the commissioner.
Yeah.
Did you guys say?
We have a group chat, and we gave him a whole bunch of shit, and he said I traded away 2 starting quarterbacks in the 2 quarterback league. I said, dude, nobody is going to trade away Patrick Mahomes.
So he traded away a player was this before or after Jimmy got hurt?
This was last week.
Right. Okay, right.
So that's before the game.
You have
no way of knowing
it doesn't matter.
Right. No way of knowing.
No. It's a redraft league, so it doesn't matter.
You didn't trade away Mahomes.
Well, I hope that commissioner gets his ass whooped in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, well, hopefully so. So
unless you're getting like Justin Jefferson and Josh Allen back for Patrick Mahomes, you should never be trading Patrick Mahomes in the first place anyway.
But so
what's not his last place team?
In Hoofnagelferg, I need a win to get in the playoffs.
I do too, I believe.
Right, and if I win, I should get in the playoffs. And who is off this week? But Jonathan Taylor.
The guy that I traded you for.
So
which another you can give the details of that trade, because who was that trade for?
That was a good trade.
That was a good trade. That was a fair trade.
That was a fair trade. And then instead of him, I'm starting the almighty Chuba Hubbard.
I have to start him in a league because of bye weeks also. I had to pick him up off the waivers and drop someone, and that's like that's my RB1 is Chuba Hubbard this week.
Well, and the Saints are off, so I have to start freaking Palmer over Chris Olave.
Yep, I have that. I have a league where I have no Olave, no McLaurin. I had to put in DJ, Corey Davis, and Hubbard. It's all the same league. Right. I was like,
Corey Davis is hurt.
All right, so in fairness, I made a trade with Clint because my team was trash at the moment that I made a 10, and you have to do some addition by subtraction sometimes. Yes. So I traded Jonathan Taylor, so that Clint could solidify his RB spot. I had no running back or wide receivers other than Taylor. I got in Debo and Kareem Hunt. They both suck. Now, Debo gave me a few points at the moment, but somehow I have crawled back into it where, like a win and some other bullshit, I could get a shot at the playoffs.
Yep.
But this week at play, because I traded Jonathan Taylor, which wouldn't help because he's on bye week now, I'll be starting Zonovan Knight and Deontay Foreman, and that was
Foreman I
just
like.
and I just saw that Michael Carter's coming back, so Knight. So
Foreman
I'm
I
done
like.
too. I'm done.
Foreman's
Now
a
I'm
top
looking for
5
somebody
running
else
back
to-
versus
Corey
Seattle.
Davis is hurt.
Yeah,
What'd you
Foreman's
say,
a
Ian?
top 5 running back this week.
Foreman against Seattle.
Yeah.
That's interesting because I heard.
Yeah.
I live in Charlotte. Anybody doesn't know, we live in Charlotte. I listen to Charlotte Live, Charlotte Radio, and they talked to the guy. They talked to Brock Heward, and the guy that does Seattle morning radio the other day when I was riding in the car. They were talking to him, and he specifically said that if the Panthers decide to say fuck letting Sam Darnold throw the ball, and they just run the ball, they could easily run for 150, 200 yards on Seattle. Not saying they're going to win, but they can run for 150. So I guess that makes Deontay Foreman a top 10,
That's why I'm starting
top 10 running back this week.
Yeah, I was hoping for but I don't have it. I just picked up Kendall Hinton, and dropped Corey.
Yeah.
So that's
Well, I mean, that's
the
not
dude that
bad
started at
because
quarterback?
Cortland Sutton is going to be out again.
He's going to be out.
It's Russell Wilson, so it doesn't really matter. But that's
I'm like, when you're screwed if you're playing 2 tight ends.
Yeah.
And they're Evan Ingram and Gerald Everett.
Unless it's like tight end premium.
Well, at least you have Evan Ingram and Gerald Everett. I start Dolchich and Dawson Knox.
Dolchich was good last week.
Well, Dawson Knox.
Dolchich scored 16.
Let me ask you guys a question, because let's say somebody is in one of these bye Mageddon situations with I don't know who would be starting of these people that are off this week. But let's say you do have somebody that a quarterback that you need to replace. Maybe you have a 2 quarterback league and you have Andy Dalton.
And I do.
You got
something like that, right?
Heineke.
So you got Taylor Heineke off. Okay.
Justin Fields is off. Aaron Rodgers is off.
If you have
Andy Dalton's off.
Marcus
are
Mariota.
you willing to play Tyler Huntley?
Oh, I would play
If
Tyler
you have
Huntley
to.
anyway.
Over who? Tyler
Over who?
Give me
No,
options.
I'm saying
All right, I'll give you some names because I'm in a
options.
2 QB league and I'm
I'll
looking
say
at this
yes or no.
roster.
Tyler
So
Huntley.
I have a 2 QB team, and I own Tyler, I own Daniel Jones, Kenny Pickett, and Mike White. Would you start?
I would start
Huntley
Kyler
over any of those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Who the Jets
Daniel
play?
Jones is going to be garbage.
Against
He's
Philly?
playing Philly, and Philly quarterbacks have the lowest QBR against the Philly secondary than any other defense. You just
See, my question with Daniel Jones is, does he have to throw the ball for Daniel Jones to still be good? At least fantasy good. Not Giants good, but fantasy good.
Just like Jalen Hurts.
Tyler Huntley is a better passing quarterback than Lamar Jackson is or will be.
He runs.
That comment you just made right there tells me why Daniel Jones hasn't got his 50.
Okay, so
he's got to play the Steelers.
The fact that you say Tyler Huntley is better.
I'm with you. Yeah. I'm gonna echo what Lauren is trying to say here, is that they play the Steelers, right? So you got a rivalry game, right? And not only that, but you have a much improved Steelers defense since TJ Watt has come back, and so it's like one of those things where it's
in Pittsburgh,
because the game is in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Right. And it's a rivalry game. It's a 1:00 game. It's going to be the nationally televised game. And he did. Well, if you guys look back to when Tyler Huntley came in last year, and I don't know if Ian, you could pull up those stats real quick, but Tyler Huntley came in last year, and when he did, this dude went off. Like if I'm remembering correctly,
he had one really good game.
He did have some good games.
Yeah.
I think he threw for like 262 and ran for almost 102.
It was like 40 fantasy points or something.
I think he had 30 or 40 fantasy points, and so I mean it's not like he won't be serviceable on a week that you need somebody, right?
But this is the week to get in the playoffs. Did he play the
Steelers?
Like if you're in the playoffs and you want to run Tyler Huntley, great. But if you need to get in,
I get it.
Are you starting Tyler Huntley?
In 2021, he played in 7 games. He
threw for
over 1,000 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Just first couple, Ian. That's it.
Yeah, he sucked after
the rest of the time. Yeah, he sucked after that because defenses picked up on what he actually did.
I think Lamar comes back next week.
I don't think he plays this week.
Lamar's out one to 4 weeks. He has
they say 1 to 4. PCL. I give him 2 weeks. I give him 2.
Yeah.
Where are they at right now? Wild card? Ravens.
They're sniffing.
I think they're
sniffing.
tied
Like,
with Baltimore.
the fans around
They're
here
still
have
sniffing.
been brutal to Lamar this week. It's so
Right.
bad. I even defended him on Facebook. It's
Okay.
like, and all y'all, if you're listening, you're a bunch of crybabies. Jesus Christ. It's not like you have like Andy Dalton on the field.
Why don't the fans just really say what they really want to say? That they don't want to. They want to give
Baltimore
Lamar
and
250
Cincinnati are
million.
tied for first place.
All right. So
I hope all of
let's
you
do
on
this.
Facebook Live are listening to me because you all cry and your whole team is hurt and it's enough. It's, I hate Lamar now. You come on, dude.
yeah, I
Put a
agree.
rally behind your kicker.
Did you get that from Jay? Did Jay
All
tell
right.
you that?
No, they have been complaining
I've never
all
thought
week.
Lamar was very good.
I never thought
He's
Lamar was
not-
very good
It's
at
not
it.
as bad as they're all the complaint. It's like woe is me.
It's
like,
not that he's
oh,
bad.
it's
Lamar's a great
unbelievable.
athlete. He's not a great
Yes.
quarterback. That's what. And it's
But
not.
he's
It's
not
not
a
a bad
bad
thing. It's not a
quarterback.
good thing.
I mean,
He's a
He's
great
not bad.
athlete.
then
You know-
Baltimore, you take Andy Dalton, we'll swap, and then you come cry to me and
No,
just
and
in your kicker.
Lauren, I
Baltimore
agree.
doesn't want
Can I-
Andy Dalton.
Can I say what I really want to say? Am I allowed to say what I really want to say, even though it's not just me and you, Lauren?
Why would
Can
you
I just
stop
say what I
now?
really want to say?
Go for
Let's
it.
just say, if Andy Dalton was doing what Lamar Jackson was doing, we'd be talking about giving Andy Dalton the biggest contract in NFL history.
Yeah.
Let's just call it what it is. Lamar runs the ball. He doesn't play Western Pennsylvania Dan Marino type quarterback, and that upsets the people that actually buy the season ticket. It has
Jalen
nothing to
Hurts-
do
No,
with
they-
the
they-
fans
Jalen
that live
Hurts is
in
going
and
to
around
get-
You don't
Baltimore.
like the running
It
quarterback.
just simply has to do with that right there, and
Jeff.
that is why Lamar gets all the
Jeff,
shit
no,
that he gets.
nuh-uh. Here's the truth. Jalen Hurts, either this offseason or next, because he's still in his third year of his rookie
And
contract.
he is,
Jalen Hurts is going to get
and he
the
is.
contract
He's
that
gonna get it
Lamar Jackson wanted, but
He's gonna
Lamar
get it back.
Jackson didn't get. And here's why: because this is
Because he has
straight
weapons.
up. This is black on black. Like that's
Yeah,
the comparison
is.
there.
It is.
Jalen Hurts is going to get that bag where Lamar Jackson couldn't, because Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback. He's a better leader. He's a better thrower.
This
And
man
he's
has an
not as good as a
MVP.
runner. But
The man has
he's-
an MVP.
Jalen Hurts is getting his.
Jalen
Don't be
Hurts not getting
surprised
the
if
MVP
Jalen
this year.
gets this
Jalen
year.
Hurts not. That's the Skip Bayless train talking about Jalen Hurts going to win the MVP
I also
this
just
year.
think Lamar,
Patrick Mahomes is going to win the MVP this year unless he fucking breaks his leg this weekend.
Jalen's
or
got
throws
Lamar Jackson
27
CJ
is not a
interceptions.
great
Brown,
quarterback.
like Jeff said, the Heisman Trophy. He's got all, and then Lamar be like, "Where's Devin Duvernay and fucking Willie Snead?"
This motherfucker is
and,
throwing to Devin Duvernay and James Prochet.
Hey, look,
Like,
Whose fault
and
is
the
that?
running back is
But
Kenyon
whose fault
Drake.
is that?
hey,
that's the GM's
That's
fault.
Baltimore's fault.
He won an
That doesn't mean
MVP
he's a bad
throwing to
quarterback. Put
Devin
Lamar in
Duvernay.
New Orleans. Put Lamar in New Orleans with Olave, Michael
Put
Thomas.
Lamar with Harry Potter in South Florida and
Then
see
give
what
me
the
two
fuck
of them.
happens. See what
Yeah,
the
put
hell
Lamar in
happens
New
to
Orleans.
Lamar. You get him down there with some actual creative
Can
genius.
you imagine?
Harbaugh's
if
a great
take off
coach, but
Tyree?
Lamar needs some creative genius now.
Hey, look,
We've become
Tom,
stagnant.
Tom Brady did it for years with
The
running with
Ravens
receivers
are
like
so
Devin.
boring.
We're not going to compare Lamar
I'm
to
just
the
saying.
GOAT.
No,
Lamar,
it's
Tom
like-
is the GOAT, and he's not
Right.
athletic at all,
No.
but Tom is the GOAT, let's
All
just
right,
say.
so let's do this. So just to give a little bit of fantasy snippet for each game, let's just run it through real quick. Okay, real
Okay.
quick. Start at the top. Raiders, Rams. So Raiders, you start Josh Jacobs. Yes.
Sorry, I didn't mean to make that face,
Right.
guys.
You start Jacobs. Yes or no?
Of
Oh,
course,
absolutely.
You
always.
start
Unless
Devontae
his
Adams.
calf is acting up.
Yes or
He's
no?
the number
You
2
start
running back
Devontae.
in the league.
I'm saying that we got to go through these quick, right? Because we got like 5 minutes. So we start. So you start Jacobs. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You start Devontae Adams. Yes.
yeah.
You start David Carr if you have to. Right.
Derek Carr? Not
Yeah,
David,
Derek
but Derek.
Derek Carr. Do you start Derek Carr if you have to? Do you start Foster Moreau if you have to?
If you have to.
Yeah, if you have to. So
Yeah.
all of these people are serviceable for the Raiders, right? And they are playing the Rams, who have essentially nobody playing for them. They actually
Raiders
don't start
defense,
any
too.
squad.
If you
Start
don't
0
own
Rams.
Kelsey, just start whoever the fuck you want
They're
at tight
just,
end.
they-
Just start who the fuck you want at tight end if you don't own
the
Kelsey.
only person you can start for the Rams at all, period, would probably be Tyler Higbee, and that would be only if
Oh, I was gonna say
I'm
Matt
not
Tyler
starting
Higbee
Higbee.
has like 1 point a game.
I'm not
average
starting
in the past
Higbee.
5 weeks.
Yeah.
There is no Ram that
Right.
I'm starting.
the
Right.
Unless you're in the football
Hey.
show league, 16 teams, and
well,
you got
look,
to start Van Jefferson or
Cam
somebody.
Akers. You can start Cam Akers and feel not good about it, but you can start him in a flex
You
position,
could start
right?
Ben
Like,
Skoranek and not feel good
I
about
mean,
it.
hell,
All right.
I can
All right,
start
so now-
Sherfield.
Next game on the list, I'm going down the list. Next game on the list is Browns Bengals. So Browns start Cooper.
Chubb.
Yeah, easy.
Chubb.
Start Chubb. Yes, you start Kareem Hunt in a flex position if you need to, for sure. But
All Bengal receivers.
Do you start Watson?
No.
No.
DPJ,
I'm actually going to pick up the Bengals
as a possible streamer.
Right, so possible streamer. All right, so now let's go to anybody else for the Browns that you guys. Oh yeah, Donovan Peoples-Jones. Right, you got to start.
And
I don't know about DPJ right now.
Njoku's coming back, so I don't know.
Njoku's coming back, right? Okay, so you got some options there. All right, so Bengals.
Everybody.
Guys, this is easy. You start
everybody.
Like anybody that's playing offense, even Hayden Hurst, you start them.
Is he playing this week?
I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Start him anyway.
Right.
Even if he's out, you play him.
You play him anyway.
They can't.
You might have to this week.
Joe Burrow is too good. He's distributing the ball at a really nice, even pace for all three of these dudes. Like he's feeding Tyler Boyd, he's feeding T. Higgins, and now that Jamar Chase is back, and he's feeding Jamar Chase. We don't know about Joe Mixon, but if Joe Mixon's there, you start him. If he's not, you start P-Ryan. Yes, for sure. Right?
Tyler Boyd's production did go down a
With
little bit last week with Chase
with
back.
Chase
So
back. Right.
That's more of a streamer now.
Right, but you have to play him, right? All right. So next game is Chiefs Broncos. Let's start with the Broncos here. You just don't start anybody unless you have to. Dolchich is one of those players that you might be able to start.
I'm forced to.
Judy,
but then we just said I have to start Kendall Hinton, but
yeah, I mean, look, it is by Mageddon, so there are
Latavius Murray if you need a running back.
The Kendall Hittons that you have to play, right? And if you got help, if you have to start Russell Wilson, then don't feel good about it, but you don't really have a choice. So there's that. The Chiefs, you start everybody, right? So you start Isaiah Pacheco.
Do we start everybody from the Chiefs?
You start Mahomes.
Well, Pacheco, I mean, Pacheco and McKinnon are probably going.
I start McKinnon, but not
Pacheco. That game should get out of hand very early. So there's going to be a lot of running in that game. So both running backs are startable. Kelsey is startable.
Yeah.
Obviously, Mahomes, you obviously start. Wide receivers, I don't think you start Tony. I don't think you can start Tony yet.
You have
to start MVS.
You're gonna be rioting Baltimore. If the Chiefs manhandle the Broncos defense, people will start starting fires down here in Baltimore. I will not be on the show next week. They'll be like,
I'm not gonna say that they're gonna win, but I'm gonna say that Kansas City typically does not fantasy perform against teams that we think that they're supposed to perform.
Yeah, that's why when you said that too, because last week they looked Denver's defense.
Teams that we say this is the week where Patrick should go for like 504 touchdowns,
and you don't.
They tend to struggle, like Indianapolis, and the defense. Indy had a good defense. They beat them. Denver has a good defense.
But KC is pissed. They lost a bad game last week.
I just don't.
I don't think they're gonna.
I wish we had more time because I really want to double back on.
Let's talk. Let's stick on fantasy and finish this out. So we have a few minutes here. So next game's Bucks and Niners. Bucks, you start Brady for sure.
I'm not starting Brady.
Really?
I'm not starting Brady. I'm not starting Brady.
I would
start Brady if I have to.
Give me Godwin and everybody else. I'll sit. Everybody else can sit.
Yeah, I don't know
if I got better options.
Mike Evans.
You probably took Mike Evans 1 or 2, so you have to start him.
But I don't know.
So here's the question: do you start Mike Evans if Marcus Lattimore's playing?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, Marcus Lattimore.
Yeah.
I mean, did Mike Evans do anything in that game without Marcus Lattimore?
In the second round, you play.
Yeah,
this is week 14, though.
This is not going to be his rebound week.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either. Maybe if Marcus Lattimore's not playing, but you got to start. You got to start the people you have to start for the Bucks, right? I mean.
I don't have to.
You got to start Fournette. You got to start.
I don't have to.
Right? If they're playing. All right. So Niners, you don't start any quarterback here because you don't know what's going on. But of course, you start McCaffrey. Of course, you start Debo. The question comes in with: do you start Ayuk? Because his production's going to go down.
Kittle, yes.
In a 10 team, no. In a 16 team, you probably have to.
Flex, yeah. I mean, if you have to, you do for sure. Right. Yeah. So, all right. So that pretty much takes care of that game. Next game, Panthers, Seahawks. I mean,
Foreman.
You already heard Ferg and I both are starting Foreman and Chuba Hubbard. So,
DJ.
And Hubbard.
Start on DJ.
Right. So you start. Sure. Why not? I mean, who?
Seattle's defense is terrible. I'm telling you.
Yeah, they are terrible. For a team that's good, they're terrible.
And Darnold loves him.
They're the anti-Legion of Boom now.
Yeah,
I mean, they score points, but they don't stop anybody.
And I just picked them up in a bunch of
Seahawks. For the Seahawks, it's easy. You start the receivers. You start Lockett and Metcalf.
Can I jump onto what Lauren just said right there about your? You said you're starting who?
Oh, Seattle's defense.
We kind of got away from the topic of doing like our starts of the week and stuff. My start of the week, not a QB, not a wide receiver, not a running back. Kansas City defense, if your team is playoff bound, they have Denver this week, Houston next week, and then they get Denver again in the championship game week if you're in the playoffs. I'm just throwing that nugget out there. Not like Kansas City is the goddamn Ravens of 2000 or the old Giants, but I'm just saying.
Hey, Danya, can you bring up Cletus's question? Because I think I got my two would be Singletary and Foreman.
Is Gus Edwards even back?
If Singletary's not coming back, then I would go Jeff Wilson.
Foreman and Wilson for me.
I go Foreman and Wilson because Chargers defense is ass.
Chargers defense is
terrible.
They're ass too. Listen, you could start Wilson and Mostert. You can start both of them against the Chargers.
Why is Dr. Phil your profile picture? All right, so so now let's go
about the mustache.
So DJ Dallas, he's going to be the starter.
Yeah,
right.
No running backs.
I don't want no parts of it.
Yeah,
but I will start Geno.
Yeah, if you need to start him,
I'll start Geno. I still start Geno.
Geno's a must start.
In Lauren's family league, I start Geno every week.
So you start Geno in the receiver. So here's
even with that, I start Geno.
Let's keep going. Here's going to be an easy one. Jets, Bills. Bills, you start everybody. Whoever's the running back, you start him just because you're going to get some pass.
Michael Carter's back this week. Yeah, be weary of night.
And then of course you start Diggs. Of course you start Allen. You can even start Dawson Knox if you need to because the tight end position is whatever, right? So, and then, of course, you start their defense, too. I mean, we can go ahead and talk about that. Jets, you start Mike White, I think, if you need to, especially if it's a 2 QB league.
Streamer, yeah.
Corey Davis is hurt, but he came back last week.
Garrett Wilson, you start.
Garrett Wilson.
I was hot on Elijah Moore last week.
Elijah Moore.
Yeah, no, you gotta play Garrett Wilson. And if Michael Carter comes back, you got to play Michael Carter. I mean, because he gets a lot of passes out of the backfield.
Michael Carter, Kareem Hunt.
Michael Carter. So, this is an easy one. Texans, Cowboys. You start nobody from the Texans. You start everybody from the Cowboys. Is that easy enough?
Davis Mills is starting for the Texans again this week.
So I was listening to something today about the Texans, and they've actually done really well against quarterbacks. So that's just because I was going to use that as my
So I was after that. Lawrence,
their defense is like top 10.
No,
the
so
Texans have not given up a top 15 running back in the last 6 weeks.
No.
That's crazy.
So no. Look. You don't need quarterbacks are not good against the Texans because they don't have to be. Because every team that goes in and plays the Houston Texans runs the ball 70% of the time. 70% of their downs. So there's very little data to come up.
It's crazy both ways because if Tua was playing any other team but the Texans like 2 weeks ago, he probably throws for 600 yards. Yeah. But he was sitting down at halftime with 290 and 2 touchdowns.
So here's what
when in an NFL game have a starting quarterback sat down at halftime?
So here's what you do. Dak Prescott is probably going to go for 250 and 2. Cool.
In the first half.
Those 2 will probably be no, they don't. Nobody throws really, against it because they don't need to. This is what I'm saying. You start Zeke. You start Tony Pollard with 1,000,000% confidence this week. Both of them. We'll probably.
Would you start Tony Pollard over DeAndre Hopkins?
All the starters get pulled by the third quarter.
Who?
Would you start Tony Pollard in the flex over DeAndre Hopkins?
Over DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins is 17 to 20 points automatic.
Would you start Pollard over Marquise Brown?
Yes.
In a heartbeat.
I'm just thinking of comparison. I'm trying to think of comparable flex type guys.
Tony Pollard is my boy. He's like my favorite. I haven't.
Would you start Tony? Okay, here's a good one. Would you start Tony Pollard over T. Higgins in a flex spot?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
See, this is where.
Yeah,
this is
I
where
think I might have to go.
I would start Hollywood over Pollard.
He's going to get the same amount of targets.
I'm thinking Hollywood too because Hollywood had 9 targets.
This is the first game where Hollywood and Hopkins are both there.
And Rondale is coming back.
I'm going to go decent on that. I would take Pollard over.
Look, you guys, this is my point. Tony Pollard's going to get the same amount of targets as T. Higgins, and he's also going to get handed the ball 10 to 12 times.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So this is what we need, and you're playing the fucking Texans. All right. And yes, I'm wearing a Texans shirt. My wife is.
I was going to say the guy. He's a fan, and he's telling everyone straight up. So
he's a Texans fan. He's plotting He's
Right,
trying
okay,
to
so
force
now-
you to do something silly.
This one's going to be fun because it always is. Vikings-Lions. This one's going to be fun.
Ooh.
You
Start
start
everybody.
the
That's a
Vikings.
shootout.
Everybody.
You start
Everybody on
everybody.
offense.
Out.
Start
You
everybody on
start-
offense and don't start their
No,
defense.
neither
You
defense.
start Thielen as a flex.
Although
What
you
do
can
think
start
about
Jordan
James
Hicks.
Williams
You can
this
start
week? Do you
Jordan
think-
Hicks at IDP though. If
Right.
you have an IDP
Who's
league,
Jameson
start Jordan
Williams
Hicks.
doing this week?
He's probably playing, but he probably won't get a lot of snaps. All right,
Yeah,
so
I'm
look,
ready for that
He
guy
had
to
2 targets.
I've
He had
had
like
him
1
sitting on a
target last
bench
week.
all season, and it's like, is he gonna play? Yeah, no, I'd love to see that.
Vikings Lions sneak pick. Vikings Lions DJ Chark.
yeah, no, and
Remember that I said that next week. DJ Chark.
anybody with the Lions too. I mean, you got Amon-Ra, you got to start. You got Chark, sure, start him. Jared Goff,
Swift
sure.
is banged up, so Jamal Williams is a
Jamal
good one.
Williams, start him. DeAndre Swift, start him. Start everybody in this game, period, on offense, except for maybe the tight end. Maybe because
James Mitchell.
so you got to start Hawkinson.
James, that's
Oh,
he's in
revenge
Minnesota. Well,
game.
in Minnesota, yeah.
Revenge
so you
game.
gotta-
Revenge game guys. I like revenge game guys.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
do like
revenge
them.
game.
Same.
I do like
All right, so now
Recent
moving on.
revenge, too.
We got 5 more games left. Moving on down the road, Jaguars, Titans. This one's going to be pretty simple. You start ETN, yes. You start Christian,
Kirk.
yes. You start Trevor Lawrence, yeah. Why not?
And why don't I? And how about
Zay
I say
Jones.
Zay Jones
Zay
ends up as the
Jones.
leading
Zay
scorer.
Jones.
Zay
Absolutely.
Jones ends up as the leading fantasy scorer in that game outside.
Start Zay Jones. I'm totally okay with that. Titans, Henry, start him, right? So
Burks.
and you got what's his name? Akine.
The tight end.
What about the rookie
Akine?
tight end from Tennessee
Oh, you're talking about-
as a flight, as a
Westbrook
flyer,
Akine.
as a streamer?
Westbrook.
No,
Yeah,
not him.
No.
The-
I'm talking about you
the
have
tight
to
end.
start Westbrook Akine because Trey Burke's gonna be out. Like he got 2 in last week. He's
I
gonna
like
be-
the
I
tight
don't
end from
think
Tennessee.
he's still in
I like the
concussion
tight end from
protocol.
Tennessee though.
I don't know
I
how
like
he's not in the concussion protocol. That was nasty.
Okonkwo?
Oh,
It
he's
was
not-
nasty, but he's not.
He's
But
not.
he might get held out just because of looks. NFL looks.
Yeah, no,
Real
the
about
looks
looks
thing.
now.
They've
He
been
was
doing that
laying in
since
the
they
end zone
almost
like
killed
this,
him.
bro,
Yeah, he did.
Like, with the ball
Yeah.
in his hand.
Ever since they
could-
almost
I
killed
think he
Tua,
can
they're
play.
like careful about it now.
Yeah, it
They're like,
just doesn't
oh,
make any
maybe an
sense.
extra week.
All right, so now moving on down the road, we got a big NFC East matchup here with the Giants and the Eagles in New York, right? So the Eagles, you start everybody. The
Everybody.
Giants defense has been great, and it will be great, but you can't take the chance of not starting any of the Eagles. So you start Miles Sanders, you start AJ Brown, you start Jalen Hurts, you start
Devonta.
anybody that you have on the offensive side of the ball. Giants, I mean, you heard
Saquon.
Ian not having a good week for Daniel Jones. Saquon, you have to start just because you have to start Saquon.
Ian, you remember last year at this time when we was treating Miles Sanders like a herpes blister?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
Do you remember that? Do you remember how we was treating Miles Sanders at this
Oh my
time
God.
last
yeah,
year?
no, I got Jeff gave
Like
him
I
to
couldn't
me, I
trade him.
gave
You
it to
just
someone
trade
else.
him everywhere. He's been
We
traded
all
like
had
7
this.
times in this
He was
league.
a number
He was
6 running back this year.
like Allen
I
Robinson.
feel bad about it. I feel bad about it.
Jeff felt
Right.
bad he traded him to me.
Jeff, I'll
Right.
trade you Rashad Penny for Allen Robinson.
No.
Ugh.
All right, so
Again,
you don't say that. We don't say that name.
we don't
enough.
say that name out loud.
For doing
Either
that.
name.
Y'all
All
ain't
right,
mute
so-
him.
This was the one that we talked about earlier. So Ravens Steelers. This is going to be another national game, rivalry game.
I don't know if I'd play anyone.
So Ravens, you start Tyler Huntley. We've already talked about this. If you need to, you start Tyler Huntley. I wouldn't start any of the running backs. That's just me personally.
No.
The only person
Andrews.
on offense beside Huntley that I think deserves
Andrews.
a look.
Mark
Andrews.
Andrews.
Yes, you have to.
If you took Andrews, you have to start
Pickens,
him.
maybe.
If you own him, you have to play him.
Have to start him. So Steelers. Yeah, if Najee's playing, he's been playing well. You got to play him, right?
In any
Pickens.
other year, I would say Pickens.
Yeah.
Because you got to go to him, especially after the shitty game he had last week. But
And
I
his
don't
outburst.
trust. I don't trust Pittsburgh's OC, and I don't trust
I
Kenny
don't-
Pickett enough to give George Pickens
I
7,
Honestly,
8,
I
9
like
targets
both
next
of
week.
these defenses more than
Yeah.
either
I
offense.
do.
You know
I
what's
have
gonna
both
be a
defenses
problem?
in several
What's gonna
leagues
be-
trying to figure out which one to play this Sunday.
Kenny's coming out there, and this is his first time in the rivalry. So I feel like that boy's
I
gonna
like
get,
Kenny, but I don't
gonna
like
get a
Pickens
rude
this year.
awakening.
I think he's going to hand the ball off a lot, and I think
He's-
Jalen Warren's going to end up getting some points
Can
here.
somebody smarter than
Yeah.
me tell me what the fuck happened to Deontay Johnson this year?
Yeah, well, Kenny Pickett.
Kenny Pickett happened to him.
Kenny Pickett was
Trubisky-
comfortable with George Pickens. I mean, like they probably listen to the same music, right? So I mean, it's just one of the things. All right, so Dolphins, Chargers.
Everybody
Everybody
Here
on both teams.
Everybody on both teams that plays offense.
Literally anybody that laces up the cleats that's not an offensive lineman
Jason Sanders. Who's the kicker for Chance? You can
DeAndre
start
Carter.
everybody for both
Dicker
of
the
these teams
kicker.
if you have to.
That's right.
Because
DeAndre Carter, you even
neither
take
one of these teams want to play defense.
Josh
They really
Palmer,
don't.
you play. If Mike Williams comes back, I'd stay away from that. McKeenan
You
Allen,
can start Mostert and Wilson.
Eckler, you play. You play all
You
of
can
them.
start
if Mike Williams is
Gesicki if you
starting,
want to.
I'm playing Mike Williams. Because Mike Williams never plays and doesn't do shit.
That's
He
true.
might
Wilson
get hurt
is
in the
that
middle of
good.
the game, but
Yeah,
when
'cause
he plays,
he'll jump up.
Herbert loves him.
With his elbow. Like, so yeah, no, I get it, man. You this is the NBA, this is the Sunday night game. Everybody wants to show out. You're gonna have everybody.
This is also the number 5 pick against the number 6 pick from the draft. Was it 3 years ago? Everyone's saying, did the Dolphins make the right choice? Well, here you go.
This is also, as we talked about earlier, this is also a flex game because you almost got a Patriots again.
Yeah.
On a fucking Sunday night.
No, but
if they didn't flex this game.
But you know what you do have, Ferg? That was a perfect segue. You got the Pats and the Cardinals on Monday Night Football. The best of the best in the NFL go head to head on Monday Night Football. So I do want to say something real quick about this game because I was listening. I can't believe the over-under is as high as it is.
What is it?
It's 44.5.
No way in the hell.
Are you
Patriots are going to make that.
Way in
Patriots
hell.
are going to keep that a low score. No.
I'll be walking my goldfish during that game. I think we're going to try the walking trail over my
I really feel like that should be.
I'm not watching that bullshit.
What game would you be watching your goldfish?
Terrible.
Well, the money line is the Pats by 1.5. So essentially and they're on the road. So it's in Arizona. So that's kind of.
I bought my goldfish a new sweater. I'll be taking him outside.
What does Bill Belichick do? He takes away the number one threat. The number one threat that the Cardinals have is Kyler Murray.
How many years is Belichick more going to coach?
Or is it DeAndre Hopkins?
It's both. But you can't have DeAndre Hopkins without Kyler Murray, Ian.
I think he's going to go.
I feel like you could have DeAndre Hopkins with me playing quarterback. He's still good for 6 catches.
Hold on, though. What I'm saying is that he's going to try to take away Kyler Murray because if you let's say Kyler Murray gets hurt in the middle of the game, he's going to switch his defensive philosophy and then try to take away DeAndre Hopkins. You see what I mean?
DeAndre Hopkins is untakeable. I'm just going to put that down.
He's one of those players that you can't take him away.
Right. I agree with you.
Even as your wide receiver 3-4, he's still going to get his.
But if anybody out there can do it, it's Bill, right? We've already seen this. We've seen it.
I don't know if Bill still got the magic.
I'm really excited here to see Hollywood and Hopkins together with Murray because Kyler loves both of them, and he wants to feed both of them.
He went to college
as much as Gino feeds Lockett and DK. The problem that the Cardinals are going to run into
Ramondre Stevenson's who you play.
Yes.
Ramondre Stevenson is a good start. James Conner is a sit.
Yeah.
You do not run against the Patriots.
Can I start a rumor right here that I have not heard anywhere else?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I wish he was I hate to say this, I wish he was of a different skin tone, but Cliff Kingsbury to Colorado with Deion and Deion's son would be awesome for the fucking Pac-12.
Yeah.
Because Kingsbury is definitely getting fired. I mean, he's definitely getting fired. So
he just bought that nice
house. The fact that whether he's the offensive coordinator for a pro team or another college team next year is really the only question.
Have you seen the in-season Hard Knocks?
Couple episodes.
I try not to watch anything to do with the Cardinals.
HBO Plus, yeah.
I get that. Yeah, no doubt. All right, so guys, we actually managed to make it through all the games. We were 15 minutes late over time, but we did manage to give at least a little bit of fantasy insight. We needed to.
You guys got me out late on the school night.
Today, I know, man. I know. So I'm ready to go too, bro. I need to get another.
Next week, playoff rundown. Let's look at it.
Next week, most real leagues.
I've been robbed.
Leagues are going to be in the playoffs. This is the last week of non-playoff football in most credible fantasy football leagues.
Lauren, you're going to make it.
Yeah, and so in most leagues it's top 8. Some leagues it's top 6, depending on how big your league is. And so
Lauren is rigged, so we can't get in.
Everybody, good luck to your teams. And also, Ferg, I need you to lose in Hoofnagel.
Lauren, it is rigged, so all the straight white males get in to the playoffs, and we can't get in.
And let's end this show by saying, don't make shitty trades.
And get
the
your
Premier
flex
League.
players out.
Respect
Get your flex
fantasy
players out.
football. Respect fantasy football. Take your
Get your
flex
Thursday night
players.
players out of your flex
Play them on
spots.
Thursday night. Take them out of your flex position.
Can I just say something before we leave? I wrote this down on a piece of paper on my desk last week before we all came down with the goddamn whatever millions
StreamYard
of
flu.
illnesses we had, the StreamYard flu, that Cleveland defense was going to win somebody a game next week.
Oh man,
And that shit was even better than I thought it was.
that
I'm
was
in Cleveland and I still lost.
Nostradamus.
This is why I brought Kansas City up earlier. If you can start someone against Cleveland and their defense, I don't give a fuck how shitty they've been, start them.
Yeah.
That defense might win you your league championship
Always
or at
look
least a
2 weeks
playoff game.
ahead.
All right.
I'm always
Always
looking
look 2 weeks
ahead.
ahead.
All right. I love you guys and I love football, but I gotta go.
I do love football, but it's time to smoke. It is time to smoke.
So until next week, you guys, good luck again. Good luck on your fantasy teams. I hope you guys make the playoffs, unless it's Ferg. Unless we both make the playoffs, that too, because we're in the last 2 positions to get this shit done. So let's make that happen. And for everybody else, for Lauren, for Ian, for Mr. Ferg, for Danye behind the mic, Mr. Merrill, who is commission, who is not here with us today. Peace out, guys. We'll see you next week.